everybody, welcome to Frannie Square. Today we're going to talk about everything you need to know to choose a wig, so stay tuned. Okay, so the most asked question I get is, I'm looking to shop for a wig, but I have no idea where to start. So I figured today I would do a video on everything you need to know to choose a wig, whether it's your first wig or maybe you've bought some wigs and you still feel like you need some more information. Stick around. We're going to talk about 4 main topics in choosing a wig. First, what you need to know about yourself. Then, what you need to know about the wig, and that includes fibers, cap features, colors, all that sort of thing. What tools you'll need when you have a wig to put it on, to style it, all of that. And finally, where to buy a wig. As you're watching this video, if you have any questions at all, just jot them down. You can put them in the comments below. You can send an email to my email address, frannieshair@gmail.com. I'll get back to you either way as quickly as possible. I also have a private Facebook group, and it's a great place to get and give support on your wig journey. We have almost 1,000 women there now, and we have a resident stylist there. Her name is V, and she will work with you one-on-one in choosing the right wig for you. There's a chat group called Q&A with V, and you can just enter the chat group and put your questions in, and she will help you. She has a plethora of knowledge from years of wearing wigs. So come on over and check that out. Also, when you're there, you'll get to see, and I think this is really important, you'll get to see real women wearing wigs. We all post pictures of ourselves in wigs. And when you're looking at wigs, you see these stock photos, and they're all done up, and the wigs have been sprayed, and all kinds of things. In the group, you're going to see real women wearing those wigs, and it'll give you a better idea of what the wig's going to look like. So, as I said, come over, check out the Facebook group, and we'd love to have you there. Before we get started, I just want to mention over at frannieshair.com, we're having a lot of specials this weekend, really great deals, so go check those out. All right, so let's get started talking about what you need to know to choose a wig. So the first thing you need to know is some things about yourself. I'm wearing Sunset by Ellen Villa. This was my first wig that I felt like, this is me. And I felt so comfortable in it. I felt comfortable wearing it out. And I realized why that was. So one of the first things you're going to want to do is look at pictures of yourself and think of a time when you really liked your hair. What did it look like? What color was it? Would it be appropriate for you now? Maybe the color should be different. You know, those kinds of things. And if you have pictures, take them out and you'll be able to refer to them as you're looking for wigs. For me, my hair was cut in this style before it started to thin. So this was a great fit. And as far as color went, I had my hair colored blonde for the longest time with all kinds of highlighting and stuff. So I felt that this color was a great color for me, and it just felt very natural for me. Truly, one of the toughest things is when you first get a wig home. You're waiting for it, you're anticipating it's going to look great, you're expecting something. You take it out of the box and you put it on, and so many people are like, oh, that's not what I wanted, the color's not right, it's too much hair. You know, at a certain point you're not even used to having as much hair as you had before, and so a wig can seem like a lot of hair. My piece of advice to you is when you get the wig home, put it on, wear it around the house. You don't have to wear it out yet. Style it like you would style your own hair, and just start getting used to the feel of a wig. But I kind of stepped ahead of myself. Let's get back to what you need to know about yourself. First things first, you're going to need to know your measurements because you want to make sure you get the right size cap. Now, the vast majority of people are going to fit into an average cap. Caps have adjusters on them. Let me grab one. Caps will have these adjusters here, so you can adjust your wig tighter or looser. This one has a hook closure. There are some with Velcro closures, and we'll talk about that when we go over the cap features. But just know that there is adjustment in a cap. It's not just one size and you plop it on your head, that's it. You can adjust your wig. So the first thing you're going to need is a tape measure that's like this. You don't want one of those hard tape measures. You want one that's flexible. Okay, so to measure your head, to make sure that you're going to get the right fit with your wig, you want to take 3 main measurements, but then I'm going to show you some other measurements that you're going to want also. So the first measurement you're going to want is the circumference of your head, and you've probably heard this if you've heard anything about how to get a wig that fits you. And I wear a wig grip, so I'm wearing my wig grip because my wig's going to have to fit over my wig grip. And I basically just measure exactly where my wig would go. So you see, around the nape here, and then up at the top, and then you take that measurement, and that will be your circumference. And for me, that's 21.5 inches. The next measurement is you're going to want ear to ear, but you're going to want to go right about over the crown or a little bit below the crown of the head, ear to ear. You don't want to go like this. You want to go over here like this, ear to ear. And some people say take a measurement of 7 inches from your hairline back, turn, and that's where you're going to want to go, which is basically right below your crown there, to get your ear to ear measurement. And that's how your cap is going to fit you in that direction. So for me, that's 11.5 inches. Then the last measurement you're going to want to take is from your hairline straight back down to your occipital bone here. Okay, now if you don't have hair and you don't know what your hairline is, it's basically about 4 fingers from the top of your brows there. So you just take that measurement and then down to the nape. And for me, that's 13 inches. Now, those are the measurements you need to choose the size wig that you're going to purchase. But you also want to know some other measurements, especially if you're watching reviewers, review wigs. You may think, oh, well, that's what the wig's going to look like on me, but not necessarily. We all have different measurements. So another measurement that I like to give when I'm doing a review is from the hairline down to my chin. So that's normally 8.5 inches. What did I do there? Yeah, 8.5 inches. I was like, what happened to my head? Did it get smaller? That's important because when I will tell you, oh, this comes down 10 inches here, it'll look like to here on me, but if you have a shorter face, it may look further away from your chin. Same thing with bangs. You're going to want to know, and I'll add this measurement. I actually don't have this in my videos now, but you're going to want to know the size of your forehead. Because if I say this is a 4-inch bang, and it looks like it's coming really nicely on me here, but then your forehead is shorter, it might come down to here on you. Or if your forehead is longer, it might look too short on you. So those are things you're going to want to know. The other thing I like to know is my neck. Because believe it or not, every stock photo I look at, the wig looks shorter on the person than on me. So I don't know, maybe I'm just shorter in the neck area than these models are. But they'll have their wig down to here, and then I go and try it on and it's down to here on me. So these are the things that you want to know so that when you're watching a reviewer, hopefully they'll give you their measurements and you can see where it's falling on them. But even if they don't give you their measurements, they'll usually give you the measurements of the wig, and then you can measure on your head and see where those different parts will fall on you. So that's the first thing you want to know about yourself, your measurements. The next thing you're going to want to know is what style and color are you looking for? Maybe you have pictures of yourself when you really liked your hair, or maybe there's a style that you've always wanted. Make sure you have that picture available. I find that for a first wig, if you can match something that you're used to, that you really liked on yourself, that's the easiest transition. So, like I said, for me, I had a haircut like this and pretty close to a color like this. It may have been a little bit darker, but I was changing my color a lot anyway when I was going to the hairdresser, so the color was not as important. what I'm going to do is I'm going to post a picture of me here prior to wearing wigs, and you'll see that the hairstyle is very similar. So sunset was a great transition for me. I felt very at home in this style. So you're going to want to have pictures of yourself or pictures of the style that you want in the color that you want. The next thing you're going to want to know is your budget, because you want to make sure that you stay within your budget. And when we're talking about the features of a wig, I'm going to tell you what's less expensive, what's more expensive, what things you're going to want to look for in certain types of wigs. So stay tuned for that. Okay, next let's talk about cap features. When you look at your picture, one of the first things I want you to look at is, are you going to have bangs or not? The reason I mention this is because if you're going to have bangs, you're not going to need a feature called a lace front. So as we're going through this, I'm going to show you the different types of caps and I'll explain that. But this is why you have your picture ready so that you know what you're looking for. Okay, so let's start with the basic cap. And I'm just going to show you here that you just have a basic cap. You don't see any features whatsoever. You have your adjusters, your nape, and your ear tabs, but you don't see any lace or monofilament there. And I'll explain what those things are. So basically, a basic cap, if I'm going to get a basic cap, I want to have some sort of bang, because if I don't have a bang, I'm going to have this harsh line up front. And I'm going to show you, as I show you the features, the difference. The other thing with a basic cap is you don't have any monofilament in the top, so it's not going to look like a scalp here. So a lot of times I'll want a rooted wig, one with darker roots. You don't have to do that, but I find that it hides the fact that you can't see a scalp. So in your basic cap, you're not going to have any of those features, but it's going to be a less expensive cap. All right, the next step up is a lace front. So this is what a lace front looks like. Now lace fronts can come temple to temple. You can have mini lace fronts just where the hair parts. If the hair falls, sometimes they'll just put a mini lace front. You can get an extended lace front which goes ear tab to ear tab, so it'll come all the way down here rather than having a seam up here temple to temple. What a lace front does for you is the lace will lay flat on your head and it's transparent so you don't see it in most cases. If the coloring of the lace is different than the coloring of your skin, sometimes you'll have to use some sort of concealer or powder to make it match, but in general, I find, at least for me, the lace is transparent. So what the lace does is, I don't know if you can see this, it lays flat and then it looks like the hair is growing out of your head because it's coming out of the lace like your hair would out of your head. Okay, so this one has a lace front and it looks like the hair is coming out of my head because the lace is laying flat against my head here. So that's what a lace front will do for you. So if you're not going to wear bangs, you probably want to consider having a lace front. For me, that's a must if I'm not going to have bangs. Then the next step is monofilament of some sort in the cap. So if we look at this wig here, you'll see it has a lace front and a monofilament part. So what that means is when you're wearing this on your head, let me just show you, you can see, hopefully you can see this, my finger. See my finger there? You're going to see the illusion of scalp because you can see through that. Now when you have a lace part or a monofilament part, it could be called either, you want to part the hair within where this part is. So if you're a person who wears your part on the right side and you buy a wig with a monofilament part on the left side, it's really not usually going to look good to part it on the other side. You want to part it where you have that monofilament. After all, you paid for that feature, you want to use it. There's also what is called a monofilament crown. I don't have one out here, but all that is a round spot of monofilament right in the crown area. So that's where your hair would naturally grow out of, and you'll see the illusion of scalp there. It's good if somebody's standing above you. It also makes the hair lay more naturally at that area. Wherever you have these features, you're not going to have as much density in that area. And we'll talk about permatease as well as we go forward. But your hair lays more naturally where there is the monofilament and the lace. Now this, let me get this, has an extended lace front. You see it comes all the way here on each side into your ear tabs, and a monofilament top. And the beauty of a monofilament top is that you can part your hair anywhere in here. So I'm going to just show you here. They have it parted right now at this spot, and you can see my hand through it here. But if I wanted to move my part over, I can see it over here. So I can wear my part wherever I like. Now, as we go through each of these features, the more features you get, the more expensive your wig is going to be. So that's something that you really want to keep in mind. The other thing about a cap is you can have a machine-made cap, or you can have a hand-knotted cap. So if I go back to any of these first ones, the ones with the wefts are machine-made. The benefit of that, it's less expensive. A hand-knotted piece, which we can look at this here, you can see this here, the hairs are hand-knotted. I think they say they use like 2 or 3 at a time into the cap. And the beauty of that is you get natural movement with the hair. It just falls more naturally. And also, should the wind blow anywhere in here, you're not going to see wefts. Whereas if the wind blows a lot with this, if you're in a very windy place, say, you may see some wefts. These wefts are dark. Let me show you one with a lighter wefting. Maybe you can see that even better. Yeah, here we go. So if the wind were to blow your hair up on this, you would see some wefting here. See that? So that's another thing to consider as well. Okay, so that covers the features. We have the basic cap, which is your least expensive. We move into lace front, various monofilament parts, the part, the crown, the full top, and then the machine made versus the hand knotted. Okay, so that takes us from your basic machine made cap, which is your cheapest cap, all the way up to a 100% hand tied cap, which would be your most expensive cap. Okay, let's talk color. Color can be one of the most difficult things to choose, especially if you're not going into a shop and you're buying a wig online. I highly recommend that when you find a wig and a color that you think you want, search on YouTube for a reviewer who has done a review of that wig in that color. If you can't get that and you want to see the wig, find a reviewer that did the wig, and then find another reviewer who reviewed a wig in that color of that brand, because sometimes the brands will have a same color name, but it won't be exactly the same. There is an industry standard, and basically the lower the number, the darker the color. However, there is variation between brands. So you're going to want to make sure that you watch a review of the color in the brand that you're looking for. A few things that I like to mention about color. First of all, if you're not going to have any monofilament on the top, I like to get a rooted wig. Some people don't like rooted wigs, but I feel it hides the fact that you can't see scalp because it's darker there anyway. Other things that you want to think about is, do you like highlights? Do you like chunky highlights, or do you like a more blended highlight? These are things that you can look for in a wig. There are wigs that are highlighted just around the face and darker around the rest of the wig. Do you like that look? Make sure when you're looking at the wig, you're looking at it all the way around and you're understanding how the color is applied. Different brands apply their colors differently. In Ellen Villa, for example, they may have one wig in light Bernstein rooted and another in light Bernstein rooted, and they don't look to be exactly the same color. And the reason for that is light Bernstein rooted for them is a recipe. It's made up of 3 different colors, and based on the wig, where the curls fall, if it's straight, they apply the color in different amounts and differently on the wig. So you can't always necessarily go by the color name in the brand. I know that makes it more confusing, and that's why I really suggest that if you can, find a review in the wig and color that you're looking for. So as I said, the lower the number, the darker the color. 1 is a black. 2 is a very dark brown. 4 is a dark brown also, but not as dark as 2, and so on. Your browns go up to about number 12, and then after that you start getting into your blondes, up into the 20s, and then into your reds, and then into your grays and silvers and whites. A few things you may want to take into account when choosing your color. First of all, take a look at your picture. What color did you like on you? You may find a picture and you think, oh, this hairstyle is great, and you're looking at somebody with a totally different complexion. And I did do a video on warm and cool tones, and that's not to say that if you have warmer toned skin that you can't wear a cooler wig. As a matter of fact, I do that now. But I think when you first start out being the most comfortable in your wig, take a look at the colors you liked on yourself previously and try to find something in that tone. As you move on in your wig journey, I think you're going to find, just like I did, that you're willing to wear more and more different styles and colors. But in the beginning, it's really important to be as comfortable as possible. And I think you can do that by finding a style and color that is closest to what you loved on yourself. As I said, I did a video on knowing your skin tone, whether it's cool or warm, and I'll put a link to that video right here so you can go check that out. Okay, so let's move on to fibers. Okay, so let's talk about fiber. I have 4 different fibers we're going to talk about, and with each one we'll talk about certain characteristics so you can compare. So let's start with the most basic synthetic fiber. That's what this is. A basic synthetic fiber is going to be your most affordable fiber. It's also going to be a fiber that will return to the style after you wash it every time. So you never have to style it. And in fact, you can't style it with heat. You need to be very careful about exposing a regular synthetic fiber to heat. So when you open a hot oven door, be mindful if you're wearing a synthetic fiber. You could actually ruin your wig just by opening the oven door. A basic synthetic fiber will be shinier than your other fibers, and I'll show you as we go along what each one of them look like. And what a lot of people do to take down the shine is either spray it with a dry shampoo, or I just recently saw somebody soaked in a cold soak their wig for a few hours and it took down the shine. Also over time, the shine will come down. I've had this wig for about 10 months. She's regular synthetic fiber, and she's not nearly as shiny as she was when she first came. So that's your basic synthetic fiber. The next step up is your heat-friendly or heat-defiant fiber. That fiber, I'm just going to show you. Let me hold it this way. That fiber, as you can see, is less shiny than your regular synthetic fiber. It looks more natural. It costs a little bit more, and you can style it with heat. Now, if you don't style it with heat, every time you wash it, it'll come back to its original style, just like your synthetic fiber. If you do style it with heat, every time you wash it, it'll come back to the last style it was when it was styled with heat. So if I change this and straighten it, and then I wash it, it's going to come back straight after washing. As I said, heat-friendly fibers are more expensive than your regular synthetic fiber, and while they look more natural and have less shine, they do tend to tangle more easily. So especially in a long wig that's hitting your clothing or your collar, you're going to want to make sure to have a comb with you so you can comb it out. Also, you want to be checking the fibers and see how they look. If the ends become frayed or frizzy looking, you want to apply heat immediately. With a heat-friendly fiber, you need to periodically apply heat to keep it looking nice. So it does require more upkeep, it's more expensive, it does look more natural, and I also find that it's a little bit more fragile than, say, a regular synthetic wig. The next step up is a blend of human hair and synthetic, and it's usually done in a heat-friendly synthetic. So here we go, we'll look at these. It looks even more natural, I would say, than your heat-friendly synthetic. And the beauty of having the heat-friendly synthetic blend with human hair is that it will go back to its style after being washed. This is a step up expense-wise from just your regular heat-friendly wig, so this will be more expensive. But as far as styling with heat and maintaining its style, it's very similar to your heat-friendly wig. The last step is 100% human hair. So a 100% human hair piece obviously is going to look very natural. It's human hair. It's going to feel more natural. And I didn't mention the feel as you go along from regular synthetic and up the line, but certainly the feel of each gets better and better as well. This feels obviously just like human hair because it is human hair. It's more expensive. It should last longer if taken care of well because it is human hair. The downside for me is that when you wash it, you need to style it just like you do human hair. It doesn't hold its style after washing. So there is that to consider. Also, 100% human hair reacts like human hair does, so you don't have to worry about heat on it or opening your oven door or anything like that. And so if we look at, here's your basic synthetic next to your highest end, your human hair, 100% human hair. Here's your heat friendly next to it. Now these are different colors, so I know that makes it more difficult, but I'm just trying to give you the idea. And you can't feel it through the camera, but believe me, this feels just like hair. And then you have your blend, and then your human hair. The last thing I want to say about the types of fiber is that all of the fibers except for human hair are humidity proof. Human hair, though, can react to humidity, so that's something to keep in mind also. So those are the 4 different types of fibers. 2 other things you want to think about when you're purchasing a wig are Permatease and density. So let's talk Permatease first. What is Permatease? People hear this term all the time and ask what it is. Basically, it is hair fibers that have been teased and shortened that are placed in the wig. It can be in a spot that's covered like this, and you can feel it a lot of times because they're shorter fibers that give shape to the wig, but also it's used to hide the wefting in a wefted wig. And I just learned that in my interview with Grace, the designer from Aesthetica, that they actually use Permatease so that when the hair moves, you don't see the wefting on the top. Now, when you do see Permatease in a wig, sometimes it'll look very rat's nesty like on top, and you want to make sure that if it does, that you brush through it. You can even steam it somewhat, but you have to be careful because if you relax the Permatease too much, then it's not going to hide the wefting that's up there. In this wig, I think you can see a little of the Permatease on this side of the wig here. Some people like Permatease, some people don't like Permatease. I don't mind it. I actually like the shape that it gives to a wig a lot of times, but knowing whether or not you would like Permatease is something else that you want to think about. And finally, density. Some wigs have more hair and are more dense, and some are lower density. Sunset's a lower density wig. I felt comfortable in it because in general, even when I had a lot of hair for me, my hair is very fine hair and straight hair. So to wear something that was a lot of hair, especially at first, now I'll wear anything, but at first I wanted it to really match what my hair was like. So a lower density wig was good for me. Ellen Villa makes a lot of great low density wigs. So if you're looking for a lower density wig, that could be a good brand for you. Oftentimes when you watch a reviewer, they will mention density or Permatease. So these are just things that you can keep an eye out for. And also if you're looking at a wig and you're not sure, you could always ask me. And if I know the answer to that question, I'll let you know. If not, I'll try to find out for you. Okay, so that's the basics of the things that you're going to be looking for in the wig. Now let's talk about the other things you'll need when you're wearing a wig. Okay, so some things that you'll need to get if you're going to be wearing a wig. First of all, underneath my wig, I'm wearing a wig grip, and I'm going to just show you one here. This is a plain wig grip, and what this does is when you put it on your head, this doesn't slide on your head, and the wig doesn't slide on this. So it helps to keep your wig in place. Now, this is a plain wig grip, but because I wear a lot of wigs with lace front and mono parts, I typically wear this kind of wig grip where it has the lace, where I can put it on the part, and the lace in the front for the lace front. I don't actually use the lace front part. I push that back onto my head anyway. I don't like the look of this underneath the lace of the wig, but the part is crucial for me because where the part is, I don't want my wig grip to show through. I want it to look like scalp there. So that's the wig grip. There's those kinds of wig grips. There's also a wig cap, which I do not use, but if you have a decent amount of hair, I think it would be good to use a wig cap. And what people do is they put all of their hair in the wig cap, smooth it out so that you don't have a bump somewhere, and then they'll put the wig grip around the bottom to hold it in place. I haven't had much luck. I've tried a wig cap. I don't really need it, especially with the amount of hair I have. It just didn't work out for me, and I found that it slipped on me, even with the wig grip. But I know that some people glue it down. They do different things to keep their wig cap down. Then there's the combination, you could choose this, of the wig cap with the wig grip. Again, this was not my favorite. I know a lot of people who use it and really like it. For me, the best thing was just the wig grip. But you can try these different things out and decide what works best for you. Now, aside from the wig grip, especially in the beginning, not so much anymore, I didn't feel secure. I was worried that my wig was going to slip off. So I used this product called It Stays. And this is a non-toxic, water-soluble glue. I put this on the edge. Let me just take this off. If I want to make sure my wig's going to stay on, I take this, it's a roll-on, and you want to make sure you don't touch your fingers to the glue because it will stick to the fibers of the wig. And I take it and I roll it along the very edge where I'm going to put my wig on. So I'll put it there, and sometimes if I want to be really secure, I'll put it along the nape of my neck. Now you have time to work with this. You don't have to rush and get your wig on. But then what I do, pretend I put that roll-on on. I don't actually want to keep the wig on right now. I put my wig on the way I'm going to wear it, and then I will go underneath the hair because I don't want to push the hair down, and press it and hold it for 10 seconds where that glue is, just like that. And then I do it in the back also, and that wig is not moving. I did another video, as a matter of fact, you can probably look it up, or I'll try to link it here, where I put it on and I shook my head up and down with a long wig, and that wig did not move. So if you are going to be doing some activity, or it's going to be windy out or something like that, and you want to feel more secure, something like an It Stays is a really good product to have. Then aside from the products that you use to actually put your wig on, you want to make sure you have a wig shampoo, a wig conditioner. I use all styling products made for wigs. Now I know other people use products that are not necessarily made for wigs, and I'm sure some of them work great. I just feel safer knowing that these products were made for wigs and don't have anything in them that's going to dry out the wig. So some of the products I use are this silicone spray. This is when my wig is really starting to look lifeless, I would say. This will add some of that shine back in. It's pretty thick. I spray a little bit on my hands and then just rub it on the wig. I wouldn't spray this directly on your wig. And I do that right after a washing, just to keep it more conditioned and supple. It's a silicone spray. Other things I like to use, I love Tresalore's new dual leave-in conditioner. I spray that on, especially heat-friendly, longer wigs, before I wear them out, because I feel it helps to keep it from getting too tangled. It just helps keep it conditioned and looking nice on the ends too. So that's the dual leave-in conditioner. As I said, I'll use dry shampoo on a wig that I think is too shiny to take the shine down a little bit. So that's another product you might want. Sea salt spray. I love this spray. It's by Estetica. This spray is great for a wig with waves or curls, and you spray it in and just kind of scrunch, and it gives a nice textured, can separate out your curls a little bit. It gives a really nice look to a wavy or curly wig. Wig wax. A lot of people use wig wax. It can be used to hold the style. It's not really strong like a hairspray, but it does hold it somewhat, and it adds texture to your hairstyle. If you are sensitive to fragrances, a lot of these products do have fragrance, so you got to keep that in mind as well. Other styling products are like this Jean Renault Peace Out Cream. I use that. I just need a little bit of that, and I can take it and kind of move the pieces the way I want in the wig. So that's another styling product you might want to look at. As you move along in the wig journey, you're going to find out what products work best for you. Make sure when you wash your wigs, all I do is I put them in a sink with cold water and the shampoo, and I let it sit for a little bit. Then I rinse it out, make sure not to wring. I just kind of squeeze the water and soap out, dab it in a towel, and hang it right on a wig stand in my tub so that it can drip there, and don't comb or brush it while it's wet. You can really damage the fibers if you comb or brush it while it's wet. You got to be careful with that. I hang it, it looks like a mess. It looks like it's never going to go back to its style right after I wash it on the wig stand, but once it dries, I comb right through it and it's right back to the style that it was. Some other products that you would want to have would be, let me see, a wig comb. You want to make sure you always use a wig comb or a wig brush. Where do I have one of those? That is made specifically for wigs. You don't want to use a regular comb or regular brush in general. You're going to want to make sure that you're using tools that won't damage the fibers of your wig. So that's just a brief summary of some of the products that you may want to get when you're looking at getting a wig. And finally, where do you get a wig? Let's talk about that. Well, first you can go to a salon that sells wigs, and you can often get personalized attention. You can see the wigs in person, and they usually have stylists that can cut and shape your wig for you. It's usually more expensive than shopping online, but you do get that personalized in-person service. For me, that's a little bit difficult. There aren't a lot of wig salons in my area. In fact, I had to travel an hour to my first consultation to get a topper. Another option is to shop online. Now this is where I really want to caution you. Unfortunately, there are scammers out there that want to take advantage of people, and you really have to know what you're looking at. The first thing to look at is if you see a website that has the same picture of a wig as other reputable websites, and the reputable websites are selling the wig for about $300, and this other website is selling it for $35.99, that's a red flag. That is not the same wig, I can guarantee you. Another thing to look for is if they have celebrity pictures up, and I mean celebrities that do not have their own brand of wig. Raquel Welch, obviously, there's pictures of her in wigs, and Jacqueline Smith, they have their own brand of wigs. But just any old celebrity, they put the picture up, they'll take the picture of the celebrity, and then they will sell you some product. It may or may not look anything like that celebrity's hair. Now, if you go to a brand's website, say Tressalure, Aesthetic, if you go to their website, they will often have a list of their qualified retailers. So if you want to check up on a retailer, you can check with the brand to see if this retailer actually carries that brand. Once you find a qualified retailer, the things that were important to me, number one, the return policy. Make sure you check out the return policy. They can be pretty stringent, and I found them to be pretty scary. And that's one of the things that I wanted to do differently at Frannie's Hair. I wanted to take the stress out of buying a wig. You know, you're spending a lot of money on this, and you want to make sure that if it doesn't work for you, you're not out your money or some portion of your money because of restocking fees or whatever. So our policy at Frannie's Hair is if you don't like the wig, you can return it and I'll help you find something better, or I will return your money, whatever you want. I am here to help you find the right wig, and I know that if I can do that, and I can do it so that you're not feeling so much stress over it, that you'll probably come back to me. So it's a win-win. Also, at Frannie's Hair, we offer a lot of support, and that's what you want to check for also. I am always here to answer your questions. You can send an email to my email address at frannieshair@gmail.com, and I will help walk you through the process. I also have a resident stylist on our Facebook page, V, who has a chat where you can go in and ask her any questions you like about wigs, and she has a lot of knowledge about wigs. She's been wearing wigs for years, and anything she doesn't know, she'll find the answer for you. But all these things can help you to make your wig buying experience so much better. Okay, so that is the basics of what you need to look for when choosing a wig. If you have any questions at all, put them in the comments below. Send an email to my email address at frannieshair@gmail.com. Come join us at Frannie's Hair, the Facebook group. It's a private Facebook group, and you'll get a lot of support there and a lot of help in your wig journey. And as always, thank you so much for joining me. I truly appreciate it. Remember to make it your own, and I'll see you soon.